Yo, guys, it's Michael from Chess Lifestyle, and I am back in London. No, back in Loughborough. No longer living the busy London life. And today, I am very happy to announce that I played a fantastic tournament, having played so disastrously in person yesterday. And I've actually managed to beat an IM and draw a GM. And I wanted to take a look at some of the games while they're still fresh and see if we can learn anything from the games, as always. So that's the plan. I'll also have the candidate tournament in the background in case anything spicy happens that someone wants me to tune into and give my 2 cents. But honestly, I had a chat with a friend today about Hikaru and his ventures with analyzing every single game on the evening that it's played, and it's crazy to me. I think, to be honest, I feel like an event as prestigious as the FIDE candidates, maybe prestigious isn't even the right word, but just it's such a goal for so many chess players to reach those levels. I'm sure Arjun Aragaisi or Abdusattorov, they would love, right, to have this opportunity to play in the candidates. And the fact that Hikaru is still so focused on content, it's actually crazy to me. I feel like as a chess player, you value the game itself more than the content. But yeah, everyone has their own opinion about it, and I guess it works out for Hikaru. But yeah, I don't know. If I knew this, I wouldn't be hedging my bets on Hikaru. I think I feel like his head needs to be in a more of a focused mindset. But I mean, there's some argument to say that maybe it helps him relax and stuff. But at the same time, it's even though I feel sometimes content creating makes me feel better as well, but on the whole it's still somewhat draining, and I can't imagine playing 14 rounds of chess or whatever it is, and having to make content as well. It's crazy. But having said that, I was able to play a Blitz tournament today, and this was definitely nowhere near as brutal as playing a candidates. But yeah, this again is this invitational tournament where everyone was playing on kind of these alternate Lead Chess usernames. And actually it's cool because I managed to have some of my students get involved, and just chance would have it that I ended up playing all three of them. So Zach, Zane, and Caius are all my students. I mean, Caius is I guess he's a student, but also a training partner. He's very strong. But yeah, I ended up playing all three of them, despite there being around 20 players in the tournament. But I wanted to have a look at each one, and let's see what we can learn from it. So this was my first game against Zach, and we had just messaged 2 minutes before this game saying that if I play you, no mercy. This is what I told him, trying to get some confidence for myself, because I mean I've lost to Zach many times before. He's really strong as well. So we get this C3 Venom, which is my pet line, and he plays the new main line, this bishop f5. I play queen b3, and here black basically has three options: queen d7, queen c8, and queen b6, which is dubious. And he played queen c8, and my preparation here is c4, and I actually don't know at what point I deviate from this prep. Bishop takes is correct. Yeah, I kind of remembered this much. And yeah, there's threats on f7, so e6 needs to be played. I wonder what happens if black plays bishop g6. Is that I just take on c5 or something? No, I just push d5. Okay. And pushing on d5 works really well, even if the knight tries to come in. Aha, we just defend this square, as you would. This is the typical way to defend this. And white is just much better. But to be +2 here is baffling to me. I don't see why. I mean, maybe the knight is a bit awkward, right? It can't return. But I don't know. And they can't really develop, right? They can't develop, and this is a big problem. If they can't develop, then I understand why this is +2. Yeah, didn't really cross my mind. So, okay, that's good to see. E6 is forced. I developed, which is correct. And yeah, after they move the bishop once, then I'm very happy to take this pawn. Like, right? They, like, lose a tempi. But Zach didn't recapture the pawn, so I went for this immediately. And my plan was actually, if he recaptured... I don't know if I was going to play rook c1 or castles. I think rook c1 was my plan. I don't particularly want my king to be in the center, but this was my plan. But yeah, so Zach gave me a chance to play queen a3, and originally I had the plan to play b4. So actually, I'm glad to see that I didn't go for this, and I didn't even consider a5. Oh, that's very bad. I would literally be worse here. I didn't consider this move. I think I always thought that I would... I don't even know what I thought. I think I just didn't see it. So that's very lucky that I had bishop d6, because I just thought bishop d6 was even stronger than b4. So that's a bit of luck that I had that, I guess. And yeah, here I'm very proud of my calculations. So bishop b5, is it working or not? Have a think. What do you guys think? Okay, I should probably move this a little bit. Oh, I realized as well, like, the engine is literally on the right-hand side of the screen. Like, I kind of want to use the engine to speed up the process of analysis a bit. But yeah, bishop b5, the point was on a6. I have this in-between move, knight e5. And I calculated as well what happens, because I did see that they can even take with the threat of my rook, but I saw that I can take the queen, and I can actually take with check. And as soon as I saw that I can take with check, then I knew that at the very least I'm going to be up like an exchange or something. So yeah, before I played bishop b7, I kind of looked at this whole line, right? I looked at this whole idea of taking like this. And I feel like when you have a really forcing line, and you feel like this move should be correct, right? Like b6 has been played, the queen is awkward. Yeah, this kind of motif suddenly like feels like it should be played. So yeah, we went down this line, and yeah, I've got this takes on f6, which is very important. And then I just took back. Okay, glad to see I didn't miss anything there. And yeah, I threw an e4 first. I wasn't so sure, you know, if I castled, like, potentially maybe the bishop could improve itself or something like this. So I just wanted to make sure this bishop wasn't so good. Yeah, and yeah, I just had to be careful here. And Zach did put some pressure on me. Like, I was very worried, actually, at this moment. Oh, knight b3 is a super nice move, actually, because they can't take on a1, because you can take on d6. And then, if ever takes, then we can just trade. I missed knight b3. This would be the perfect way, of course, to deal with it. But I completely missed knight e3. And luckily, very, very luckily, I have the move rook e1, so that I'm not, like, completely busted. So he missed something here. Just knight g2 first, yeah. This is, like, a really strong move. Because if I try and hit, then the knight can come out to a really strong square, and if I take, well then, yeah, now I'm losing an additional pawn. So I think this would have been really strong. So yeah, I guess not considering candidate moves enough for Zach. And yeah, luckily I kind of have like a big enough lead in the position. And I can't remember how. Oh, I had pawns. I guess this is an asset. And I guess maybe I can use this rook to try and collect the pawns. Rook c6, yeah. Yeah, I mean, these pawns are like really well suited to combating this bishop. So kind of, it definitely makes sense. Like, maybe I could be more ambitious here. Like, I kind of just felt that I can win 2 pawns, he can win 1, but I guess that pawn is a huge asset, and now maybe there's more chance of holding if, like, his bishop is all on one side of the board. Okay, I thought activating the king made sense. Yeah, and I managed to trick him with this move, taking on e6. But yeah, definitely like Zach had 55 seconds here. I had 12 seconds. I mean, it was plus 2 seconds to move. But probably he shouldn't be trying to flag me with quick moves like this. Like, just make sure that I'm not doing any tactics. And this is one of the most common mistakes in endgames where players switch off the tactics. Like, this is like a one move threat. And for sure, if it was a middle game, I'm sure Zach would see it. But because it's an endgame, you kind of just like forget that we've got to be tactically aware as well. And I also need to be tactically aware because I missed this move. I was like looking for like this kind of tactic. I just didn't see it. This would have been good. But in my defense, I had like less time on the clock, so I started to shuffle because I also felt that I don't need to rush with like my plan. Like as I was shuffling, I was kind of trying to work out what the best configuration was for my pieces. And I realized like at some point I would want to try and just trade this rook off this line. Like, or maybe even just offer a trade. I felt like trading a pair of rooks would be useful. And that's why I went for this. And luckily for me, Zach played king h6, missing completely this threat, right? So when you're the side with the advantage in an endgame, you can really like grind out your opponent, and you can see like Zach was like moving like left and right with the rook, and then moving the king back and forth. And yeah, when you start like, you know, having to play like back and forth kind of moves, it can be very, very tricky to like constantly look out for threats like this. But yeah, I think the story of this tournament, I scored 5 out of 9 again, so I should actually put my score here. So I scored the same as last weekend, but I think I did play stronger players this time round, and I think I could have scored higher, but I was really not being so like determined with my conversion skills. Like for instance, like this decision to take on b5, it's almost like a lazy decision. I feel like, I think, like if I was really determined to find the best move, then I would be able to find this. But I was kind of like settling, right, for like a good move. So I think like trying a bit harder to search for the best move is probably something I need to do. But yeah, that was my game against Zach, who is roughly, I would say, like a 2000 strength player. I think he's a little lower rated right now, but I think he's definitely on the rise. Not to mention he's like 13 years old, 14 years old. So yeah, definitely huge amounts of potential. This next game was against one of my other students, Zane. And Zane is literally 10 years old. And I taught him the Ratty, so that's why he was playing the Ratty. I haven't taught him my C3 Venom yet. I wonder if I will. But we kind of got this Ratty position, and I was not expecting this knight a3. But in a way, it kind of worked out for him. Like I actually end up playing a Ratty against him. Like he ends up playing with bishop e2. So I guess like he's doing his own thing. Maybe this is his own setup that he's been working on. But I play like a Ratty with the black pieces here. And I was actually very scared that I'd kind of messed up here and allowed this d5. Because normally, I do have this move, but I was scared that he might be able to push d6. Yeah, this was my fear. And also, not to mention, this knight on c2 is really well placed against this knight on b4. Maybe I can't do that. And yeah, knight a5, I guess it's like fine because white can't push the pawn. But it just feels a bit awkward. So I think in general, whenever like the opponent is... Well, firstly, I should always start with rook d8 first before putting the knight on c6, because you don't want to allow these d5 pushes. But here is a position where I think if you can't play knight c6 safely because they can push the pawn, it might be one of those moments where you want to take and play d5. But here, Engine doesn't like me taking first and playing for this d5, and prefers me to just take play d5 immediately. And I don't like the positions where they take on c5 and I take back, and they leave me with these hanging pawns. Knight takes d5 is even good here. Like, this is baffling to me, right? Because it looks like this structure is better than this structure. So, why is this better for black? Probably to do with this awkward knight on c2. Oh, and also the fact that, yeah, this rook is literally on the line of a queen. So queen e1 makes a lot more sense. Get off this line. And I guess maybe black's pieces are just a bit more centralized. Like, actually, this knight is kind of limited. I'm surprised knight a3, knight c4 is not top move. Aha, and we've got some very concrete knight b4 ideas. So, yeah, this kind of play with an immediate d5, it feels like it's something a bit more concrete. Maybe less like... yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's right for me to intuitively feel some discomfort about this pawn structure. But anyway, Zayn didn't push the pawn, and that actually allowed me to take in the center and then play with d5, which I feel like is very principled. Yeah, and I kind of just threw this move in because I felt like it might be useful. And around here, I felt like I missed an opportunity. So I did consider coming back to d6, but I was very worried about this push. Oh, wow, and the knight comes this way. Oh, what a nice little maneuver. I was not looking at this maneuver. I just thought the knight on d6 could be good, but I didn't really know what to do. I think I just kind of looked at knight e8, thinking way too passively. But this looks really, really nice. Because now if you don't have time to defend this because c5 is dropping, right? So this would be a complete collapse of the position. Yeah, interesting. So I just went back with the point being that, well, firstly there's the queen hanging as well, but I just felt like strengthening my center couldn't be bad. And yeah, it was around here where I thought maybe I had like missed an opportunity. Yeah, it was this moment. I think I thought taking would have been good. Yeah, because the bishop moved to a3 and no longer defended the d-pawn. So I suddenly realized that I could take here, and, you know, white can't take back because the pawn drops. But I hesitated and played queen b8. Hesitated on this move, I guess. And this then allowed Zayn to defend the pawn. So this was much, and then I had to like find a different plan. So this is still like quite tricky. I saw this knight c5 plan as well. I don't know if I ever went for it. No, like I was looking at ideas of this, trying to make use of this pin. So whenever you put your queen on like the line of a bishop, you have to be careful. And yeah, we reached this position. And the thing is, do you remember like from a previous stream? I think it might have been last week's tournament. We had this position where I was playing against an isolated pawn. Yeah, it was this one. It was this game where I actually played a friend of mine, Josh. And yeah, we got this like isolated pawn position. Okay, it's actually not this chapter. I thought this was the one. It's not this one. But we definitely looked at a position the other week where I was playing against isolated pawn. And the thing we learned was that we need to keep a major piece on the board. Like, if we just trade down to minor pieces, the isolated pawn can be held, like, quite often. So I wanted to keep the queen on with queen d7. And I played knight d5, just blockading the pawn. And I create a little threat here. It's not like a winning material threat, but it's like, you know, better to win the bishop, I think. And yeah, knight d3 is now giving me like an advantage. And then like this is why it's very important earlier in the game. Like, white should try and make improving moves on their position, because now white actually has some problem, and that gives me some tactic, right? So tactics favor the side that's positionally stronger, or if we're playing someone who's got like a positional weakness, and the back rank is one of those weaknesses. So e5 was a nice spot. And now it's too late to play a3 because I get this passed pawn. And I even managed to trick Zayn later because he played b4 here. I just improved my king, right? Like, no need to rush with this. No need to leave my king on the back rank. I just put my king on h7. And the problem for white is that this king is not the same as my king, because my king is actually quite safe. This king is kind of exposed. It's on a dark square. I've got a dark squared bishop. My queen is in the center. So I just tried to bait. I play this move a5 on the point that if they take, I will take with the queen, baiting the fact that white cannot take because I've got this check. And luckily for me, Zayn is a very quick player, so as you can see, he's got a minute left on the clock. And he couldn't help himself but to take this pawn. And thank you very much, I'm going to take your knight. And then at this moment, it was just about clearing up. And yeah, this decision as well, I mean, I can understand, like, maybe if you've kind of, like, you feel like there's no point trying, and maybe you just pray that the pass pawn will work, but I think in this position, you just do a very simple calculation, and you realize this bishop is always stopping the pawn. And if the bishop's always stopping the pawn, then you shouldn't take this queen. And you should just play, like, I don't know, queen d7 or something, and try and get some counterplay, right? Like, maybe something like this. And I know this is one of Zayn's problems, actually, with his blitz. Like, sometimes he trades too much. Like, just, like, auto trades. So, there's something that Zayn will need to improve on. But yeah, this trade then basically makes it lights out, because there's no way that this pawn is ever close enough. Like, it's even 2 moves too slow. And now it's simply just queening. And just collected all... Well, I didn't even collect all the pawns. I just knew that I can checkmate with the king queen, and this was a mate. So I started the day with 2 wins against 2 of my students. And now I had to play against the IM that I managed to beat in the final round of last week. And before I go on to this game, I'll answer Arjun's question. So Arjun says, random question, but what do you think is your ceiling in terms of FIDE rating? Well, I think maybe FM. Maybe FM. I reckon I could get FM. Like, I don't think I could push higher than that, in the sense that I don't think I have the consistency. And I also think, like, I've got too many flaws as a player. Like, maybe flaws is a bit, like, too negative, but it's just, like, I mean, just there are players who are, like, 2021, 2200 rated, who will always be better than certain weaknesses of mine, even if I were to work day and night on those weaknesses. So I think that would hold me back, but I am a very practical player. I have certain strengths. And okay, I beat an IM today and drew a GM, so we're gonna come to it. And I mean, I've definitely got some skills, right? So I think, like, you know, if I were to keep working at it and maybe somehow even more things click, I think I could reach FM. I think so. Probably realistically speaking, anytime soon. Maybe 2200 is like the potential, I would say. But to be honest, I'm not even confident I can get back to 2000. Like, it's so tough to play, like, FIDE rated tournaments. Like, literally, you can have a great tournament and play one underrated 1700 junior and mess it up, and literally have a negative tournament for one game. So it's tough. But yeah, this game, my opponent changed setup this time. If you remember last week, I played this guy, and he played like this really ultra aggressive h4, f4 stuff. But against my c6 move, it's really not so great. And I played a really nice game there. But in this game, he switched it up with bishop f4, and I go for d5 anyway. And I was a bit curious, actually, if he were to take, what would happen with these kind of ideas, right? Because I'm not in time to play bishop f5, knight c6, and rook c8, which is like the standard way of dealing with this attack. So, what if white were to do this immediately? Wow, king f8 only move to be plus 0.4? I actually need to learn this theory then. Because I mean, I kind of want to play d5 here. I mean, I could learn queen b6. I don't really want to play systems with d6, although they're completely valid. Like, it's kind of old school modern, but it's a bit too sharp for my liking. So queen b6, maybe it's something I could look into, but it's also not particularly my style to go after these poison pawns and then try and, like, play very accurately. The less accurate I have to play, the better. That's kind of like the conclusion I'm coming to. Like, the more I can just kind of play on flow, the better. So maybe I should just learn this line with king f8 here. Like, how bad is this really? Like, Engine is saying it's completely equal, which is unbelievable to me. Like, what? Isn't this a move? What's the point? What's the point here? E5, I guess? Yeah, E5. Nice. I mean, what a position, eh? But I guess, like, maybe this knight is just completely doomed. That's a very cool line, this E5 resource. I think many players would be baited into playing this. I wonder how many people have actually prepped King F8. If my internet will load. Yeah, you see? No one. Only 3% of 2,500 players have bothered to prep. So you see a lot of players like they don't really analyze their games and prepare. Like 895 games playing knight a6. I mean, I guess it makes sense as well. But knight f8, king f8 is just a good move. And how can we avoid this? Let's say they play bishop g3, right? So that e5 isn't as strong. Now we can play knight c6. And if they play knight c7 now, oh, we just have repetition. Interesting. Interesting. And I guess the point is that if white were to play something else, then we just do something else. E5, right? It makes sense. So I guess in this position, if we want to avoid the rep, is there a way? Guess we could play h5. Is this still gonna be a... This is definitely... Oh, h4. Oh, this is so cool. Provoking bishop f4, and then we have the same resource of e5. This is really cool. Yeah. Okay, this is cool. This king f8. Really, really interesting. Really interesting move. So, learn something new. That's good. But in the end, he played knight f3, which means I can always take. And then you've always got to choose between bishop b5 and knight f6. And I know Hikaru plays bishop b5 in this position, but it's not as sound. And this is the setup that I like to go for. Queen e2 was just a bad move because I can play bishop e6, so I'm not sure why he did that. And we get a really interesting situation here because he plays h4, I play h5 to stop any attack. And I probably play too ambitiously here. So here, I just see an idea, and I feel like I need to go for it. Yo, Seema, interesting analysis indeed. Yeah, finally I had a good day of chess. Like, I'm I mean, compared to the games you saw yesterday, like completely different player. But yeah, I was so tempted by this move, to just take on a2. And this is like this common idea when you've castled opposite sides. You can sometimes get away with grabbing this pawn because at first glance it looks like your bishop's getting trapped. But you then go very quick to play a5, a4. And your idea is that you will have compensation for when they take the bishop. And interestingly here, white actually has the move rook a1, with the point being that the bishop is still trapped and you get to take back with the rook. That would then trade this rook and then make this king be a bit less unsafe. So in this position, my IM opponent actually took on a2, which actually gives me the advantage. So I was correct in this call, but my follow-up play was not so good. So I was thinking like I wanted to give a check here, but I don't like the idea of that white can block here. So that's why I started with b5. But already that's inaccurate. So knight d7 keeps up the attack. So what? Let's say they just like develop, link up their rooks. This makes the most sense to me. Aha, b5 comes with tempo though, so fair enough. Is there maybe then I can play like bishop d3 instead? Wow, and c5, this makes complete sense. Yeah, I guess this is like the most principled move as well, in a way. Like, just trying to involve these pieces. And if bishop e2? Because now I don't... Still c5, okay. Because I thought maybe... even though, like, the queens are, like, threatening to trade, like, this is just way too... Like, f5 is going to be a move at some point. Very interesting. Yeah, so, knight d7, this is interesting to see. But good to see that, like, my idea wasn't complete trash. But at the same time, my opponent shouldn't have taken... here. Like, rook a1 would have been the way to go. So, in fact, in this position, it's already -1. Like, I don't even need to be, like, going for the sack. And a5 is already good, apparently. So let's say he keeps piling on the pressure, right? Bishop d3. Ah, now bishop takes a2 is a bit faster. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Are you playing modern in classical games too? I am. Yes, this is the plan. I mean, I will see because I mean, obviously, like when I play in Dortmund, if there's like a lot of like of my games online, I don't, want to face some like really deep preparation. Um, but definitely, like I'm not against playing the modern in classical. Like I've had really good results with it, and as you can see, like it's just got a lot of like turnover like rates. Like it's already -1 here against an IM. Like what other black opening am I ever going to be -1 from the opening against an IM? It's like not possible, literally not possible. So a5, I think this is makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Like if you've got this plan, and I guess then king b1 also needs to be considered. But then this is too slow. Knight a6. Wow. And what if they play like some move like c3 to try and like stop the knight coming in? This would be my fear. We have b5. Also, welcome Shay to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Also, how did your team do in the Liverpool League? Like, did you guys manage to survive relegation? I would be very curious to hear. But yeah, let's say a move like bishop d3 now. Is this really something to worry about? I guess it is. I guess it is. You're not in time to like do some kind of defense. Yeah, this queen is so strong. Ah, it's so cool. So cool. Yeah, this is really nice. So what ended up happening? So basically, I played the wrong attacking move. I tried to bring my pieces in, and I gave it a good effort. I saw this idea. Wow, knight b6, and it's only plus 0.6. So I'm literally down a piece here, right? A piece for a pawn, and his position's only plus 0.6. I guess this king is still very weak. I've got some tempo on the bishop. One, this is already losing. Ah, yes, because I can give this check, and then this would be mate, right? This is a big check. Yeah. So I did see this idea actually, but I always thought that the bishop can drop back. But bishop d2 is losing, is it? This is a losing line. Ah, because the rook. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So I didn't see that. And I went for this instead. But I tried my best, and this was a tricky move because I can't actually retreat my queen somewhere else because then they've got this capture. So I was seeing some tactics, which is good. So I played queen g4, which is definitely better then, and I tried to improve my pieces, which I did, I guess. Which, wow, and I'm even taking over here. Yeah, and this was such a shame because I thought I was like super smart with this move. I thought I was like super smart. Like I give check, and then like the bishop can't take, and if the king were to move, my plan was I would take the bishop because I feel like the pawn can't take because the queen hangs. I think that was like some other idea. Or maybe, oh no, sorry, I thought I could take the queen, right? Because, if I just take the bishop, the queen will take, right? So I thought here I could take the queen, and if pawn takes, then I can win the bishop. Like this was my smart plan. But that's why knight d2 is actually like a good idea. Like if white were to just play like some nothing move. Well, okay, I don't know what's a nothing move. Like probably any move is actually working out, right? But if it was my move here, I think then I've got some plan with this capture. So knight d2 protects the queen, and now this tactic isn't working as well. So I just had to go back. But now I played this f5 idea, and I actually got a better position here, but I just didn't see the way forward. And I think I should have had more faith. Like, I guess I thought I was like still a piece down, so I needed to play like for like some really dynamic like attack on the king somehow. Like this was like an idea I saw. But in fact, I can actually just play it more chill. I can just play rook a3, and then just play b4 and just clamp down on like white's position and just say that I've got all the better pieces here. So I'm literally like a piece down, and I'm literally better because like every one of my pieces is working maximally. And I just didn't believe that I could be statically better in a position where I'm a piece down. But yeah, my pieces really coordinated well. And here, I should have taken the knight apparently. Like this would have been good. And again, like trading just felt wrong. Like given that I'm a piece down, and again it comes back to this idea. But yeah, for sure, you know, it's like one move to be equal. Otherwise, it's plus 1.7. So I can understand not making this decision. But what I didn't appreciate is actually how weak my king is. And I missed the fact that g6 is hanging, and I just tried to go for like some attack on the king, but actually I didn't realize how low on the clock I was, and I actually flagged in this position. I think I was like just about to draw this move, which I don't know if this would have worked. I guess not. I was hoping like I might have like some kind of tactics somehow, but no, nothing's working, and I lost. But yeah, really interesting game against the IM, and I think like again, like I feel like the opening worked a treat. Like I just understand it really well. Like White gets tempted into all these kind of bad moves, and I've seen this move like I don't know, at least 10-20 times. Like I feel like I'm getting really to grips with this Gurgenitz modern. So yeah, very happy. And the happiness continued because I then played my coach Nicola. If you can believe it, right? Like, Nicola was paid to play in this tournament. And yeah, as you've seen on the previous stream, right? Like, Nicola's an absolute beast, and he is a beast, right? Like, and he gave me this chess lesson, which lasted like 3.5 hours. But I managed to beat him, which is unbelievable because Nicola's like so talented and so strong. And yeah, this 2200 is a load of bullshit. Like, his Blitz online is like 2700. So I effectively beat a 2700, which I'm just, yeah, super happy with. But again, playing my C3 Venom. This is like my opening. Actually, tomorrow morning I'm going to be having a video meeting with a Chessable staff member on like how to like film the course. And yeah, I'm gonna start filming this week. I'm gonna try and make like the best videos I can. That's all very exciting. So yeah, that's my course, 1C3 Venom, and this is my opening. So yeah, we transpose to a London system against the Dutch. And what's very important is that we're not playing with like a Fiat Chateau structure. And in fact, actually, we're not going to castle on the king side altogether, because why would we ever castle on the king side when black's got all of their play on the king side, right? So I waited for Nicola to castle king side himself, and then I was trying to work out whether I should play with rook g1 first before g4, but I decided just to go g4 immediately, and I'm curious, like, okay, engine is already saying equal here, so did I slip up already around here? Yeah, against this kind of setup with like Leningrad now, maybe I should be playing for h4, h5 instead. This might be better. And maybe that's why Nicola actually played with g6 on my h3 move. But the great thing about h3 is that you basically prepare this g4 push. And the fact that... Okay, no, it is a slight negative. Interesting. How was rook g1? Was rook g1 any better? Also the same. So my logic was that if he were to take... I would take back. Okay, and this is better for me. Yeah, and I was looking at all kinds of ideas, like this kind of stuff, right? So that's why keeping the rook on the h file was good. And this actually wins. So I was looking at this. Aha, and I was gonna... the knight is even hanging. Right, so I didn't even see that. I was just banking on like having something here, and I wasn't sure. I literally looked at this line actually, and I wasn't sure if I'd have enough here. But I just completely overlooked that actually this knight is hanging. So that's good to see. Like... with the bishop on e2, yeah, this is some tactic here. So I took on f5, which is generally my plan when they don't take me. Although apparently it's not so accurate, just castle first. Okay, that makes sense as well. But now I put the rook on g1. And eventually I'm going to play for h4, h5, right? I played knight g5 here. And I was a bit concerned that Nicola would just play h6. And the reason why I played knight g5 was because I want to... play h4 where black can't play knight g4 because then, you know, the knight can come in, right? So I kind of want to have the pawn on f3 and then stop this. But I realized after putting my knight on g5 that I can't really play f3 first, because if I play f3 now, then black can play h6. And I thought I was in trouble here. Now, okay, apparently I can just sack the knight and be okay, but, you know, I'm not going to do that. And it's not even good. So I had played h4, hoping that Nikola wouldn't play knight g4, and then I would play f3 next. And luckily for me, you know, Nikola's a strong player, and he realizes that knight g4 is just not good. And actually, yeah, well, can I just win a pawn here? Like, why didn't I think this was good? But yeah, I was concerned about this move because I can't play f3 to defend my pawn because this drops. The bishop f3, wow, this tactically works out because now the queen defends laterally. So this is interesting. Queen b3 somehow works out as well. Yeah, we just go all in for this attack. Fair enough. So I didn't see this, and I didn't even see that I can win a pawn like this. Like, I literally didn't even see this, which is pretty sad. But I kind of just banked on the fact that I'll find something, and I feel like you can kind of use this guide in some way. And Nikola played h6, which now weakens the g6 square. And I had to make a call here. Do I go for the attack with like h5, which was definitely one of my moves, or do I just make sure I defend? And even though Engine says that like h5 is like winning, I would need to be really careful here. And, okay, I guess this makes sense that these pieces are going to coordinate better, like it's only the queen attacking right now. Interesting to see that knight b1 is actually a very strong defensive move. I didn't really consider that I might have this kind of defense. So maybe if I can block with a knight like that, then maybe this is good. Okay, good to see. So I played king b1 to be safe. And I finally played my f3 move. I didn't want to allow that knight in. And yeah, Nikola managed to like really outplay me here. And I had this plan that I wanted to play with knight f4. But what I didn't realize was that when I take, then I've actually got this problem. So I was actually in a bit of a problem here, and I just kind of played queen c4. With the idea that if they take, then I can throw in this move, take back, and then I'm hitting g6. And I felt like maybe I have some like counterplay here, like maybe something like this. I wasn't so sure. Which is why after a3, and I played b3 to keep it closed, Nikola played king h7 to protect this, I guess. And here, I played rook e1. With the hope that maybe, just maybe, Nikola won't take this bishop. I'll be able to move it away. And incredibly here, Nikola plays like one of the best moves, right? This is like one of the best moves. But I literally thought that if Nikola just takes this bishop, I'm completely toast. Because, I mean, these pawns just look so ugly. And this bishop is just stronger than my knight. So I felt like I would play this like every day. Like this capture. But interestingly, Nikola plays like even more of like a correct move. But from my standpoint, I was super happy to be able to avoid this like static permanent weakness. And this was Nikola's idea. But I managed to move my queen out the way. And the very funny thing is in the London, every single time, black forgets that this bishop is lurking on h2. And Nikola played c5, which I guess is like a good move to try and open up the position, involve this bishop. But of course, forgetting that my bishop is on hitting this d6 pawn. And I first threw in h5 because I thought this was useful. And then I took on d6. And interestingly here, I take over the advantage with rook c1 because he can't take because of the rook. And I'm threatening to take on c5. But unfortunately, I missed this. And crazily in this position, Nikola missed a huge tactic here. So actually in this position, have a think here. Black to play and win. A team dropped out early on in the season, so I don't think anyone is getting relegated. Okay, interesting. Right. Is Nikola an aggressive tactical player or more positional? Definitely tactical. But luckily for me, Nikola missed a very, very good move here. How much are you charging for the course? I actually don't get to choose the price. But I suspect it will be within the range of like £15-20 for the course. And then maybe like £50-60 for the video. I really don't know though. But honestly, like it is the best piece of work I've ever done in my life, like hands down. So yeah, get it. That is the best promo I can offer. Um, I don't know. I really think it's really great. Um, but yeah, we'll see how successful it is. Bishop d6 for black and these Dutch structures are usually quite good. Oh, bishop d6. When was bishop d6? This was like ages ago, right? But like bishop d6, like at what point for who? Instead of fianchetto. Okay, which I just didn't read far enough. Yeah, bishop d6. I don't really know when. I don't really know when though. Like when do you get the chance to play bishop d6? Like my bishop's on f4, right? So I don't think you get the chance to play bishop d6. Like maybe bishop e7 and like play for this classical kind of Dutch. But given the fact that I'm not casting kingside, it's not so simple. And yeah, basically in this position, I lost my advantage. And I saw this was incoming, but I only saw knight c3 check. I was kind of prepared for this. Like I completely missed that in this position, queen f6 is absolute killer. Like I'm just completely weak on these dark squares. So I think, yeah, if Nicola finds this, it's completely lost. But instead, Nicola played knight c3. And this was his plan, which is also good. But then I have this move knight c3 to kind of block out this queen, which then activates my queen. And we had this crazy time scramble, right? Like I'm down to like 10 seconds. And yeah, I'm creating all kinds of threats. Like in this position, what was I threatening? I'm threatening the rook, right? And then I gave this check. And yeah, I didn't mind Nicola taking because I felt I was material up. Like I wasn't really counting, but I felt like, yeah, I felt like I could give this check first, trade, and then take this bishop, and I thought I'd be winning here. So I think this was a correct call. Like I'm up 2 pawns. And then I saw like he played a2. I just decided to start running with my king. He tries to bring the queen in. I tried to bring my knight in. And yeah, it just becomes a bit wild. So Nicola defends. I cover the d-file. Nicola comes in. I try and just protect my king at all costs, right? I just control all of these entry points for this queen. Nicola brings him a knight. And here I grab on f5, trying to create a threat of mate. He gives a check. And yeah, this was apparently a blunder. Like, yeah, like to take immediately, I mean, this was my plan. But I thought I was running away here. I was going to play king d1. Wow, and you can play this. This is an insane move. Like, knight d4 maybe is findable. But it's also, wow, and I'm actually almost lost here. What's even the threat? Like, what's it? Oh, my queen is the threat? Let's say I would just give a check. Why is this, like, so bad? I don't really know. Yeah, queen g4 or something. Oh, the check this way. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I can see how this can go wrong. Yeah, knight and queen are just so deadly, right? So it makes sense that in this position, I would just kind of want to try and get rid of this queen as soon as possible. But yeah, basically, this happened. Nicola went passive. But yeah, in this position, it's crazy because at this moment, I was always banking on the fact that I would take this pawn if the knight moves. And after knight a1, I took on a2. I was like, oh my god, I missed this move. So this is what I mean about like my tactics just being bad, especially under time pressure. Yeah, and in this position, I should just, I don't know what I should do. I guess I should just win the win the knight, right? Like, this is probably fine. Yeah, but it was just all panic, right? It was just all panic. I played c6, and incredibly, in this position, Nicola missed this move. And apparently, I still have compensation due to my c-pawn, which makes sense as well. Like, am I playing king g3 here? That would be my instinct. King g1 is better. Wow. Because there's no check on b1. I'm sure if there was a check on b1, then I'd be in trouble. Like, let's imagine that the queen can't take. Okay, it's hard to see that with engine. I'm just curious, but yeah. So in this position, yeah, knight b3 was played. So then I just push c7 while I can. This time I didn't miss that my rook was attacked, but I just saw that this was like, this was good enough to queen. And I didn't even see that I had the fork at the end, but I just felt that I could play queen against 2 pieces. My queen would be much too strong. I have an extra pawn. But luckily I just have this check, right? And then I'm winning. So that is how I managed to beat Nicola, which doesn't happen very often. But it's definitely like due to the fact that I played 1c3. Like I really think like when I can play from a stable structure, I'm able to play much better. And even though I make mistakes, which you saw, I made countless mistakes, like they're not like game losing mistakes. Like it's not like I'm making a mistake and then getting checkmated. But a lot of these sharp positions that might be objectively stronger, yeah, they're just much more. You get punished for making a mistake, and as a player that makes lots of mistakes, I don't want to be punished so soon. So this is kind of like my my philosophy with this opening, and yeah, that is why I made a course on it, and I think it's pretty great. But guys, it's pretty late, and I've got to wake up early for this meeting with this chessable supervisor. I absolutely cannot miss this meeting. So I'm gonna get some sleep and have an early night. Oh wow, with the bishop on f4, you made bishop d6, e takes d6. I've never heard of this idea, Shay. Literally never. I wonder if it's actually engine approved, if we go back. So maybe in this position, oh, bishop d6 is actually a move. That's so interesting. I've literally never seen this. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. And you know what? It kind of makes sense because now you can play for minority attack again. Who would have guessed? Minority attack in the Dutch. That's a very cool move. So actually, if it's bishop d6 is a thing, maybe I shouldn't be playing h3. Right? Because if bishop d6, then maybe I want to be able to play like bishop g3. But at the same time, maybe allowing this minority attack ain't so bad. Like maybe it's not so bad. I don't know how they even prepare. If they, let's say they just go for it immediately, right? Yeah, I can already start like getting some counterplay. G4 is kind of wild right now. Like, what's the point? I thought it was gonna be like rook g1, but no, just bishop d3. Yeah, maybe black's a bit too slow with this counterplay. So for sure, this h3 g4 idea is definitely something very, very testing. But yeah, really cool to see this idea, Shay. Thanks for sharing. But yeah, I'm gonna do a part 2 of this video tomorrow, I reckon, and then you can see this game where I actually had a -7 position with the black pieces against Dragon Solak. And Dragon, like, this would probably, if I managed to win this game, this would be my second strongest win of all time. But Dragon is a 2600 player and former top 100 player in the world. Like, I think his peak was like, yeah, close to 2650. So the fact that I could outplay him as well from an equal position, and again, it was my Gurgenitzer modern, so like playing these setups that I feel like I really know very well, compared to like you know, other people. And yeah, it's just a joy to play structures and openings that I feel really confident about. So we are going to resume this analysis tomorrow. Let's have just one final really fast look at what's going on in the candidates. Okay, Hikaru Prague draw. Again, very disappointed by how Hikaru is playing. Like, this is way too boring and not ambitious enough if he wants to actually win the candidates, so I don't know what he's doing. Very proud of Nepo for playing some very exciting fighting chess. I would be very happy to see Nepo win, to be honest. How is Veruja doing? Okay, looks like it's boiling down, but yeah, great to see that Veruja is pushing for the win with the extra pawn. Okay, minus 0.8. Oh, I can actually hover over this and get an evaluation. That's pretty cool. Plus 0.52. Okay, and Gukesh. Aha, Fabiano is probably going to try and grind this out. Yeah, bishop against knight with an extra pawn. Yeah, like even if this is objectively equal, I could easily see Fabiano winning this. Yeah, like probably like coming back to like my chess bets, the bet on Nakamura over Caruana. Now in hindsight, like it doesn't like it looks really terrible. But at the same time, I really had no idea that Hikaru would play like this. Like he had an unbeaten streak of like 48 games, and like yeah, he just seemed to be really on form, and I really thought that he'd give it his all because last year, like or 2 years ago, he came third place in the candidates, and that's why Ding got the spot over Hikaru. But I really thought that this year, like Hikaru would just be like, I'm gonna be world champion. Like I thought like he would really have a different mindset, but to be honest, he's just like making these streams and uh, making content, like even playing moves for content. Are you kidding me? Like it kind of upsets me a bit. But yeah, I could never have predicted this. I don't think like what to do. And actually, let's just see the women's section. I'm very curious to see how they're getting on. Come on, internet. Yeah, my internet's been really garbage, like, recently. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, for a second I thought Ting Ji was, like, winning. I saw the bars, like, being completely black. Right. Ah, and Lagno winning. Doing better than Zhongyi. Damn. That would really be interesting if Lagno can convert this. That would, like, make it anyone's competition again. Yeah, I don't think Vaishali is going to be able to convert this. Looks like they're about to repeat. And how's Tingji doing? Looks like maybe Anna's like pressing. I feel like Tingji's king is a little bit weak given the H file is open. At any point, maybe White can sack their queenside pawns. Yeah, I wonder. How is this going? Yeah, this looks a bit dangerous. God, I'm worried for Tingji's position. And yeah, I don't even know. I don't even want to start what's going on in Salimova's game. Like, what opening was this even? It's like some... Oh, a Dutch! A Stonewall Dutch. Damn. Oh my god. Oh my god. Of H5, H4. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's so unhinged. That's so unhinged to play like that. What a way to play though. Is this like some main line against Catalan? Knight e4 here. That's such a cool idea. Like you could see how the position turned around so quickly. Yeah, it's not an idea at all. Wow, played 0% of the game. Hats off to Humpy for playing this. What a line. What a line. That's awesome. This is the kind of like style that like I wanted to try and develop. Like I wanted to look into these kind of like stonewall positions like this. But yeah. I guess like stonewall actually makes a lot of sense against d4 because there are all kinds of lines where white can play for e4 when you haven't committed with d4. But against d4 then I guess like yeah, Dutch kind of systems become stronger. Yeah, really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I hope Humpy can win this actually, just based on like how the opening went. Okay, guys. One final question from Quattro. A friend called me psychotic for using leeches in light mode. You are absolutely psychotic. Like dark mode is the only like I genuinely think like I would be 100 elo less on light mode. Like I can't even see the pieces. Like my eyes are getting like blinded by the rest of the screen. Like dark mode, 1,000,000%. Yes. And it's cool that actually there's some streamers covering just the women's section. That's very nice. Maybe I should do some FIDE candidate streams. But the thing is, unfortunately, Lichess, when you stream, you can only link to Twitch. You can't link to YouTube, so I can't like get a notification that I'm a streamer. Hopefully they'll update that at some point. But on that note, guys, I really am gonna go to bed. So thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the second half of these analysis. Okay, see you around. Bye.